music in the background is not disturbing us. Okay, so you're welcome to today's session. Today we are going to be continuing our technical objects um, topic. Last time we did technical object functional location. Um, Today, before we jump into the next technical object, which is equipment, I'd like to, because we had a long break, so I'd like to refresh on this technical object functional location, just a little high level summary, then we can move. Possibly we missed explaining one or two things I noticed, so we'll also cover that in this opportunity. Okay, so let me let someone in. Okay, Chike, Echefu, you're welcome. So we're just about to start. We haven't done anything yet. You are right on time. So I was just explaining that because we had a long break, we are going to summarize what we did under technical object functional location. Normally, we're supposed to move to the next technical object, which is um, equipment. Uh, okay, this is the way it's arranged. Technical object functional location, technical object equipment, which is what we should be doing today. And then in our next class, we'll look at bill of material and then we'll move in that fashion. But because we had a long break, so many people may have maybe forgotten the 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 pattern of events in the last class. So I will just highlight this again, just a high level summary, so we can be on the same page again. So in our last class, we look at technical object functional location, and this picture reminded us on how assets are structured in a particular geographical area called a maintenance plant. Okay, in a typical maintenance plant, you have a lot of equipment, a lot of maintainable assets scattered everywhere. And without ERP or computer, you are not able to manage this properly. But ERP helps you to manage these assets, even though they are complex and there are many. So the topic describes how objects related for plant maintenance can be mapped using SAP. So basically, we're looking at just locations that have a function, prospective locations that are designated for a particular function in an organization. For example, I gave you example of palm oil production uh, area, which is a functional location in our organization. For example, I looked at granite oil production area, which is also another functional area in an organization. You can look at drilling area. You can look at inspection area. You can look at um, maybe production, oil production, and so on. So all these are functional location. As the name implies, functional location, a location that performs a particular function. In this case, we're not talking about a technical object equipment that is installed there. We're looking at the location. So those locations are mapped in the system hierarchically, because if you go to a particular area where a certain function is being carried out, you will notice that it has a sub location that has another sub activity going on there. And when you go to the sub, you have another sub location. So all these broken down into sub locations that can be meaningful to refer to easily, rather than considering the entire location, um, which will be too big to manage. So you break it down hierarchically as they are arranged physically. Okay, so with functional location, this is hierarchically ordered structure that represents a technical system. It can be a building or part thereof. So in a company, you first need to decide which technical systems and buildings relevant for maintenance and need mapping in the system. So first you identify which are these locations that are very key for the business, and you consider them as functional locations. Okay. So here, the sequence for structuring technical system, you identify, then you structure, then you classify. Okay, this is where we do a particular thing, or all similar activities are classified using the particular class. Then you verify all this we looked at. Why do we create functional location? So that we can, during execution of task, we can refer to them. Say, okay, functional location XYZ has a problem we need to maintain. So it already has a label, it has a tag, it has the way and identity. So it's easy to refer to it. Then, because you have carried out maintenance on that functional location several times, you build up a maintenance, you record maintenance task against that functional location. Then data collection over a long period. Because you are carrying out maintenance in that area for some time, you collect a lot of data on that location for a long period of time. Cost monitoring, you can say, okay, only groundnut oil production area, how many, how much are we spent in the year for maintaining that, only that area? Okay, and then also palm oil production area or any other area, production area, transport area, drilling area, all these areas, how much are we spending in maintaining these areas? So you can, monitor your costs by area. So what effect do the usage condition has on likelihood of damage? So because you are carrying out maintenance on that area, which area is prone to damage? This is dependent on the history, the maintenance history you have built up, which is readily available in the system to extract and analyze. So that's why we create functional location. So that is like structuring it based on function or area, based on the function in these areas. And you can say, okay, for this particular building, for example, in our organization that is meant for um, maybe calibration, we want to know what is happening on this building as regards calibration cost and all of that. Okay, so this is how it's structured. You can see that this is an area clarification plant. It's an area, it's a plant, but it has mechanical cleaning under it and also biological cleaning under it. Mechanical cleaning also have sand trap and oil fat trap, while biological cleaning has pump plant and filtration station. So the way, if you keep going down, you will see the sub locations under this clarification plant as a whole. So this is structured based on the function. Okay, and then when you go down, then you are likely going to meet an object that is installed in one of the location or one of the sub locations. Okay, so sorry for that break. So we now will, I know in our last class we did a structure like this. Okay, we decided on, we imagined that we have a company which we structured the sub locations down to these levels. Okay, okay, so I mentioned that for you to achieve this structuring for a dedicated company or a dedicated client, you need to do some customization. Okay, so the customization here is these two major customization, or these four Okay, but these first two are most mandatory. Structure indicator, which we also did at the back end. We got our more like a template how we want our functional locations to appear or to look like. Then this one we didn't really do this customization, but it's also very important. It's called functional location category, and I will show you what that means. IL02, for example. I know I mentioned this before. So this okay, during creation of functional location with IL01, you are mandated to provide these two fields because you see some of them are white. Okay, those ones that are white in color, they are things you can provide the information. Okay, so this is the structure indicator which we created as is the list. I think I can't remember, but something like um, remind me, please. Our structure indicator.
I think it was Mac from Macordy plant.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, great. So Macaulay plant structure indicator. Okay, right here, Macaulay structure indicator, yeah. Then another one is this functional location category, which is what we have here. Number two, functional location category. So this is, in fact, this is very important as well because it is what determines how, this is what determines the information that you can gather about a functional location. For example, remember we created some functional locations here. Let me go to the change mode and select one. So all these fields you are seeing here are controlled by functional location category. Look at it here. The one we're using by default is this technical system M. You see so many other ones here. You can create yours as well. So this functional location category is what determines whether you will see general, location, organization, structure, partner, and so on. You can see all this information here. So you go to the back end and prepare your structure, your functional location category, and assign all this information that you want. So another company will say, I don't have any business with partner being in my functional location master data. So you can hide this. You can hide the ones that are not necessary. Even these individual fields can be hidden. Okay, so you don't need to bother your users with a lot of information. You only limit to what you want the user. So this is controlled in this small key here called functional location category. We didn't do this customization because there are lots involved in this. I want to reserve it for when we're doing customization. So at the moment, we're using the default one by SAP M, which is the one that is set as default here, M, okay? Functional location category M, technical system standard. So when we're doing customization, we can create our own and give it any alphabet here or any letter there, and we'll configure it to look like or to mirror what the client wants us to. So that's what we didn't talk much about. So I want to emphasize. And you can see here that this functional location category, these are the things that the possible configurations that you can make on it. Partner determination procedure, object information, customer system, change document, status profile, measuring point category. All these are assigned to what the functional location category. Okay, when we're doing this customization, will treat all of this. Now, another customization is reference location category. It's similar to functional location category, but in this case, it's a reference location which you can, reference your original functional location during creation. Okay, so when you create a reference location, it's like a template so that when you are creating the next one, you can reference the reference location and it will retain exactly what is it. So this also has a functional location category, or in this case, reference location category. But this is not very commonly used, but it's a functionality that is available. Alternative labeling. This is also a customization that we will do at the back end. And we're going to look at this alternative labeling today, how it works, because we omitted it in our last class. So here you activate it at the back end so that you can be able to work with your installation, your SAP installation. If you don't activate it, you can't use it. Then you define labeling system on this alternative labeling. So these four customizations are paramount for your functional location. Okay. So we look at this structure indicator and I explain what is all these things for us, these levels. Okay, what they mean for us. Yeah, the X for alphanumeric, N for numeric, A for alpha. So this is their levels accordingly, and this is example of what comes out of this coding template. Okay, so the master record for functional location uses the following views. You're already familiar with these views: general view, location, organization, and structure. This is what I'm talking about. When you do IL02, these are the views I'm talking about: general, location, organization, structure, partner, and this one, additional data. So these are the possible views. You can even add more here. Look at space here. So during customization, you can choose to add another view here that doesn't exist. You can even have a custom view here that SAP did not provide, and this can be prepared by ABAP guys so that you can add fresh information that SAP does not have. Okay. So these are the views, the possible views. So in the general view, you will see fields like class, object type, reference data, manufacturer data, all that is in the general. You can see class, object type, manufacturer data, all these are here. So you can decide to hide the whole of this part. You can see it's divided into, it's part by part, okay? Manufacturer data, you can hide if you don't need that. You can hide reference data. You can hide general data, and all the fields relevant for that will be hidden. You'll see smaller information. Okay. So in the location, you also have set of data available for location organization. So in the master data, which is this, when you open this, see, this is the master data of your functional location, what you are seeing here, because it contains all the information about that functional location. And in this case, this is the functional location, is fire water pump. Okay, so that area called fire water pump, this is the master data, because you will see the manufacturer of the fire water pump is here, the model number, the part number, the serial number, the manufacturer country and year, acquisition date, value, acquisition value, startup date. Here you go to location, you see so many details, up to even the work center, the main work center, planner group, plant. All this make up the master data of this. So each functional location has this master data, which we have done extensively already. So we omitted this alternative labeling because I don't know, for some reason we didn't treat it during functional location. I want us to look at it today because it's very important. Now, the alternative labeling of functional location enables you to use different labeling system for the same hierarchy. What is this talking about? Long and short of this is you are able to rename your functional location. What do I mean? This functional location, for example, is Oba slash Obagi slash CRS slash. Okay, let me use a functional location we created. One of the functional location we created, or let me just display a list. So who can remind me the transaction code to display list? The list of functional location. Who can remind me why I'm looking through the path to locate it? Somebody should remind me the list transaction. That's if I want to display like a report of on all functional location, not the structure.
I think IH06. I'm not sure.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
I'm not sure.
IH06. So this all list transaction is here. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, IH06. So if I run this, it comes like a report. And here, under functional location, if you specify the topmost location, this is what I mean by topmost location. This one, C. You notice that everything here begins with C. C1 dash something, C1 dash, or down to the list level begins with C. So even for the ones we created, all of them will begin with, remind me, Mark, right? All of them will
Yes,
begin
Mark.
with Mark, because Mark is the Makurdi. So when you go to Makurdi, if you want to go to any other sub location, you must reach Makurdi first before you go to that sub location. And when you reach that sub location, you will reach that sub location before you go to another sub location. So that is how it. So because we know that our topmost location is Mark, we want to play a trick on this system by introducing a wildcard search, which is asterisk. This asterisk represents every other thing that is after mark. We know that slash something something slash something something slash something something is after mark. So by introducing asterisk here, it means any functional location that begin with mark should be displayed or should be listed here if I execute. As simple as that. And I see that all mark functional locations are listed here. Their technical names, which is this name, their descriptions, the way we want to understand it, their planning plant, and you can even add more information here using this button. If I click on this button, the the information on the left hand side are the ones already displayed. They display columns. You can see selected line is this S here, functional location is this one, description is this one, planning plant is this one. So anything on this side is not yet displayed, but you can choose to move it to the left by, for example, let me look for something like functional location category. I move it to the left. Planning plant, I can move it to the left. What again? Main work center, I move it to the left. And again, even as you are moving it, you can decide which position it is in the report. You can adjust it. You see, I'm moving my main work center up now so that it will be number one. Okay. And then I want to move my maintenance plan to be number two. So you can also arrange that. Once you are okay, you can save it. And you see all this information will display here. There are more information displayed in this report here now. So now you have your plant, you have your main work center, which is always the same, which you have the functional location, the description, the functional location category, which is M, then the planning plan. Or you can even add more of it. So remember, let's go back. We're talking about alternative labeling. Let's not forget so soon. So alternative labeling, what it does, it's able to rename a functional location, because you see this functional location, for example, mark aba seki trans 30 dash cr. So if, for example, this is supposed to be 511, and then by mistake you wrote 502, it is only with alternative labeling that you are able to correct this. So let's pick this guy. I'll copy this guy. You can do the same, please. Get this functional location, 502, 502, which is your forklift. So we want to make this forklift to be 511. So normally, if you come, you can add how do you call it, a new session by clicking on this button. So you have a new session. The old session will still be here. Okay, and you're on a new session, like a blank new page. So if you launch the transaction to change your functional location, who can remind us the transaction code to change functional location? We have create, change, display. To change, how do you do that?
IL02.
IL02. So if I launch my IL02 and then I enter my functional location, this one we created, this 502 here, sorry, and I open the master data. This is a forklift. You can see that this part of the functional location is grayed out. What do I mean by gray out? Grayed out. You can't modify anything here. The only places you can make modification is all these fields that are white. Like this field that is grayed out, you can't change anything. Are you noticing the difference between the grayed out fields and the white fields, the editable fields? Like this one, I can type anything here, right? But this, look at this field, look at this field, look at this field, look at this field. They are all grayed out. They are locked. System lock it. You can't make a change. So, but we have a task to modify this guy because the client says the naming of this functional location is wrong. So it's supposed to be what? 511 instead of 502. So you can only use alternative labeling to do this. So if you are here, go to extras, alternative label, overview. Then you'll see the old name here. There's a tick here. Tick it and click on this pen. This pen means change label. So if you click on this pen, then it will open a new label field for you. This is a new label field. And it's also telling you that it is making use of your what structure indicator to do this labeling. So you can easily just copy this one here, add it here, and then modify it. So this is the only way you can modify this functional location. If I'm not too fast, if you are here, then I'll proceed. But if I'm too fast, you're not able to catch what I've done, please call my attention.
Yes, you are fast actually. I've not been able to get
Okay.
to that point yet.
So let me go back. So first, for you to do alternative labeling, you must open that part of the functional location. Let's assume this is a part of the functional location that you want to modify. C1-B02-2A/1. Okay, so it is no longer, you have discovered that it's not 2A/1, it is 2B/2. The only way, if you have already created this functional location, the only way you can modify it is open that node, that branch of the functional location in change mode like this. That's the branch. And this branch is a forklift branch. Are you here with me?
Please, can you
Are
change
you?
your hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, please, can you change the display down your screen? Can you change it to your T code, the transaction code, so I can quickly see what transaction code
Okay.
you are.
Okay. If I got you correctly, you mean I should
Yes, yes, exactly,
set this
exactly.
on transaction code. So
On
this is
T code, yes,
IL02.
02. Okay.
Mm. This is IL02. I'm using IL02. I'm using the change transaction for functional location because I want to make a change in this functional location. And the change is the label. That's this functional location label. Because as it is now, somebody will ask, why don't you just erase it here? I'm pressing my backspace, but nothing is erasing. It can never erase like this. Okay? So nothing is erasing. If it's a description, of course, I can easily erase my description. You can see how it has erased it. Okay? So while you are here, you can go to extras, then alternative labels, alternative labels. Are you there? Why I'm being fast is this is not actually the topic for today's class. So I'm trying to round it up so we can begin the.
Okay, you can go ahead then.
Are you here?
Yes, Mr. Paul.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes, I'm there.
so so click on overview. If you click on overview, you will see the current name or the current label will be displayed here. So just tick this box here. Tick this box to show that you want to edit this guy. this label here, and then click on the pen at the bottom. So the moment you click on the pen, you will see that system will open a new label field for you. So copy this one above here and enter it here so that you can now, down here you can edit. Type your 11.
Done.
Then click on continue. You can see that it's the same uh, coding template that is showing here, right? So if you click on continue, you will see that the label that you have just introduced will be the one ticked here. The system will show you the date this label was created. The first one was created on the 10th of August, 2024. This new one is created 24th August, 2024, and it is the active one. So you can even change between them. If next tomorrow you don't want to use this label again, you can switch back to this one. But for now, because this is ticked, this is the active label. So you click on continue, and you see immediately this label will change here. So you have changed a part of the node in the whole structure. Okay. So if you save this now, the moment you save it, if you try to enter that previous 502, system will tell you it does not exist because it's no longer an active functional location in the system. You can see, you try to enter 501, the former one. System will say this functional location does not exist because it's no longer the active one until you enter the new label, which is the 511, and system will open it. Now, the advantage of this is if you have created, very soon we'll be talking about work orders and notifications. Even if you have created a work order or notification on the previous one, the moment you change it, it will apply on all previously created objects on the former functional location. System will go and replace all those objects with the new one. Even if you have created a maintenance plan, a work order, or a notification on the former functional location, once you change the label, system will go and update it with the new one. And if you search those objects using the former functional location, you won't find them. You will find those objects because they no longer exist under that previous functional location, but the new one. So this is how alternative labeling works. So it can be used if it can be used deliberately if you just want to change the labels. It can also be used if there's a mistake in your labeling. You can use it to correct your mistake. Okay. So pretty much we we did a lot here, and I think this is okay for the functional location. So let's move to our topic of today, which is equipment. Okay, so equipment. Equipment, in summary, a piece of equipment is an individual physical object that is to be maintained as an autonomous unit, e.g., a pump, a motor, a vehicle. So this is not a location. An equipment is not a location. It is an object. And this object is installed in a functional location. So, for example, I always like using this palm oil because it's quite I quite try to bring it home, something that all of us will understand easily. So in the palm oil production area, which is a functional location, there could be a machine that squeezes the banga, right? That machine is the equipment, and that machine is installed in that palm oil production area. Now let's look at oil and gas sector. Let's take, for example, um, how do you call it? Maybe a well pad. If you go to a well pad, you'll see that we have a couple of equipment installed in the well pad. We have a generator. An emergency generator is installed in the well pad. That well pad is a functional location. The generator is an equipment. You have a pump somewhere that is used to, pressurize the vessel or pressurize the line. That pump is an equipment. You have an electric motor installed somewhere. That electric motor is an equipment. So the real maintenance is carried out on the equipment itself. The equipment itself is what the company spend money maintaining. Only in a very few instances where you raise maintenance for a functional location, because a functional location can also be maintained. Let's take it for example, you have a vessel, a very big vessel, like a storage vessel for maybe crude oil storage vessel. That in itself is an object, but it can't be considered as an equipment. It is created in the system as what? A functional location. So if the vessel requires inspection, if the vessel requires some kind of maintenance, you can also raise a notification or work order on the vessel and you will maintain it. So only in a very few instances where a functional location is maintained. Else, the bulk of the maintenance activities goes to the object, the equipment that is installed in the functional location. That is what the company spend money on. That is what we maintain spare parts for. That is what we store spare parts in the warehouse for. So if we have an electric motor installed in a particular functional location, all the spare parts of that electric motor will be in the warehouse, because we know that sometimes the motor will fail, the electric motor will fail, and we need to change a part. Maybe the cover, the casing, maybe the how do you call it, all the parts that are there. Maybe there's a nut that is worn out, we need to replace it. So all those spare parts will be in the warehouse. If you have a pump installed somewhere, all the spare parts of this will be in the warehouse. But in the case of a functional location, you may not have any spare parts. You just need to go maybe clean something or service something, or just ensure that the working condition in that area is favorable. If you need oxygen in that area, you ensure that it's there. If you need any form of gas in that area, you ensure that the gas is sufficient. So you don't have any spare parts necessarily for a functional location. However, there are some functional locations too that have spare parts. Let's take, for example, you want to um, um, you have a functional location called a junction box, because in that functional location, it will have a junction, a very big junction box that is there. A junction box is not an equipment, but it may have spare parts that needs to be replaced. So these are only situations where even a functional location will have a bill of material, will have material stored in the warehouse. Okay, so these scenarios will change depending on the situation. So there are functional locations that are completely empty. There are functional locations that have equipment installed there. There are functional locations that have objects installed there, but they are not equipment. So you need to understand that. So when we're talking about equipment, these are objects that the company or the business have identified as objects that are maintainable, that are equipment. So equipment, the management or the business is interested in the cost of buying spare parts, the cost of maintenance of that as a whole, as an autonomous unit. The business is interested in the cost of maintaining, for example, that pump, that motor, that generator. So every time that object is to be maintained, there must be a history, a maintenance history built up on it. So if it is maintained 10 times, you will see 10 times maintenance history in form of a work order. There must be a work order created. There must be a notification first of all created, and then it's converted to a work order. So if you go into the system, you check the system based on that equipment, and you see 20 work orders, you know that equipment was maintained 20 times. And if you go into the work orders one by one, you will see what was done. Even if you are new in the system, you are able to have an idea that, okay, this generator, there was a time we changed the alternator. There was a time we changed the some of the valves on it. There was a time we changed the oil. There was a time we changed the exhaust. There was a time we changed this. There was a time we changed that. So that history is there in the ERP system. So even if you are new, you are able to tell about the reliability of this equipment. Can you rely on it? Or what maintenance decision do you need to take on this equipment going forward? Okay. So why do we create equipment? So once the business identify pump, motor, generator, turbine as equipment, then you need to create them in the system with a dedicated number. Just the same way we have a label for your functional location, you are going to have a dedicated equipment number in the system. If that equipment is installed in a particular functional location, then in the structure, in the functional location structure that we did last time, you will also see it installed there, which is what we are going to be doing today. Today, we are going to be creating equipment master datas, and we install this equipment in their respective functional locations. Okay. So why do we create equipment? Management of individual data for each of the equipment, recording of maintenance task, just like functional location, object-based recording of cost. So when we pick this generator, for this first quarter of the year, how much have we spent maintaining this generator, this pump, this electric motor? Evaluation of technical data. So you can analyze this technical data and come up with a very good maintenance decision. Say, okay, we have changed alternator 5 times. The next time we will not change it. We'll just change the whole generator because this generator is uh, has depreciated so fast. So we don't need to be changing those major parts again. We just need to replace. So if you have those history, it helps management to take a good maintenance decision. Recording of usage times. Okay, how many times uh, this generator is used in that location? Equipment master record. The equipment master record uses the following views in the standard SAP. So just the same way we have views in functional location, general, location, organization, structure. We also have views in the master record of an equipment. So let's see. Okay, sorry. What was this? It's supposed to be here. So these are the views. We have the general view, which has class, object type, reference data, manufacturer data, just like the functional location. We have location, which have the location data, address, organization, which has account assignments, company code, cost center. All these are things under. Then the structure, we have a structure indicator, higher level functional location, and so on. So these are the views we have. So let's go into the system and try to check an already existing equipment. So the transaction codes we use to manage equipment, you can find them under the structure. I like explaining the structure first so that I don't like people cramming transaction codes. I want transaction codes to just get used to those transaction code naturally rather than cramming them. So first, know how to go to get the transaction code you want. So I'm going to plan maintenance, technical objects, then I will now go to equipment. So everything concerning equipment is found under this folder. Okay. So here you have create IE01, general create, then create special. You have all the create special uh, transaction code. You have the change IE02, display IE03, IE04 for dismantle. Then list. If you want to make a report of all the equipment, you will see the list editing transaction codes here. So we have transaction code like IH08 for displaying the list of equipment. And then you have other transaction codes or structure, equipment structure, and so on here, which we'll be looking at. So I will use this list IH08. For functional location, we used IH06. For equipment, we use IH08. This is display equipment selection. So I'm going to try to display some equipment here. Let me just display everything in the system. This is what we have in the system. So here, you are seeing a number here. This is the number that represents each of the equipments, okay? This is what we call equipment number. And this is a description of each of the equipment, okay? Serial number, material number, system status, and so many other. In fact, for any equipment that has a functional location, you will see that is installed in a particular functional location. You will see the functional location will be displayed here. You can see some of them have functional location, while some don't have. So it means those ones are not yet installed. So I will just display one of this equipment so that we can see. So this is equipment master data. It looks like that functional location master data, but here we don't. It is not the functional location label. We have an equipment number, which is what we are going to be creating. We have the description of the equipment. Then in equipment also we have equipment category. We have different kinds of equipment category, which you can also create your own in customizing. So when we are doing customizing, we'll also create an equipment category. So equipment category is the one that is responsible for collecting all this kind of information together. Okay, so if you go, these are the views in your equipment master record. Okay, so if you want to create a new equipment, then you use a transaction code to create. So there's something I want us to do together. Let's go to our functional location list again, IH06. So this is it. Let's identify the ones that are equipment so that we can create those equipment under it. Okay. So here we have diesel generator. So this sounds like an equipment. So we're going to create a diesel generator. A forklift. It also sounds like an equipment. We'll create this forklift under this functional location. Then what again? This crane. We'll also create this crane. Then maybe this water maker machine. So let's select these functional locations and keep somewhere. First of all, the forklift. I will just keep my forklift here. Okay, we'll change this forklift to 5511. Then the next one is this generator. Then the next one is this crane. Then the next one is this water maker. So these are the locations that have a real equipment installed there. What this means is for locations like uh, which one? Like this deluge valve, we don't want to consider it as an equipment because this deluge valve is not an equipment. We want to consider it as a location. And the function of this location is there's a valve there, but we don't want to consider this valve as an equipment. So it is the responsibility of the company to decide which locations have an equipment or which objects installed are equipment or not. You can even decide that, okay, a laptop that is in an office is an equipment. It's up to you. If you want to be carrying out maintenance on that laptop and maintaining the maintenance history, you can even decide that AC installed in a particular office is an equipment. You can go down to that level. You can only consider the big, high costing objects as equipment. because those are the ones that you care about the maintenance history of. Any other one, you just want to treat as a functional location. Okay, so I want to believe you have selected all these functional locations. So um, the first one is for um, forklift. So let's create a forklift in the system. So you're going to create an equipment number for your forklift. So let's go to a new page. Let's go to a new page. Then we'll go to plant maintenance equipment. I will select IE01 to create, or you can type directly. Let me let someone in. Please confirm you are on this. We're on the same page. Are you here?
Yes, I'm
Yes,
here.
I'm there. Mm.
Okay. So IE01 is a transaction code for creating equipment. IE01. So this is how it opens. Create equipment initial screen. So here is your equipment number. But when you are creating equipment, you can, depending on your equipment category, if it permits providing equipment number externally, meaning as you are creating, you can assign the number yourself, or if it permits you to system to assign automatically in a series. If it is to as if your equipment category, which is this, during customization, if you set it that it should only allow external number assignment, then you will need to provide your equipment number starting from maybe number one. The next one you create it will be number two, the next one number three till. But if you have customized your equipment category such that it should allow internal number assignment, that is, system should automatically assign a number from a particular number range. So these things will make sense more when we are doing customization. For now, let's take the default customization for this equipment category M for machines. So all machines will be created with equipment category M. And this equipment category M allows internal number assignment, meaning once you create, system will assign a number from a particular number range. So if the last number was 100000, the next one will be 100001. The next one will be 100002. So it will continue in that series. So when you are at this level, all you just need to do is don't bother entering a number externally. Just press enter. And the moment you press enter, you can see that there is a dummy number already created here. This dummy number is not fully created because you have not saved. If you save, then system will generate a number for you. But this is telling you that system is about to generate a number. So what we're creating is what we're creating the forklift, right? Let me see which was the first one we're creating. Yeah, the forklift. So the equipment we're creating is a forklift. So type the description of the forklift here, forklift. Okay, because that's the equipment installed in that functional location. Okay, so um, then what else? If you have these details about the forklift, the manufacturer of this forklift, I don't know if you have it, maybe it's XYZ. If you have it, you can enter the model number of the forklift, all these details. Now, another interesting thing about this is the moment you install this forklift in that functional location called forklift, which is this one. So there's a location called forklift. So forklift operations happen in this location, this functional location. And the real forklift, which is the object, will be installed in this location. So the moment you install it here, the details about this location, some of the details about this location will be transferred onto the equipment. What I mean is things like the manufacturer, model number. If you already capture this information on the functional location, it will come automatically and fill here. We call it information data transfer. So because system knows that this forklift the location has some attributes because that location takes forklift that is manufactured by a particular manufacturer. So when you bring the real forklift there, it is the same manufacturer, so the details will transfer. So the manufacturer number name will transfer, the model number will transfer, the serial number, all these things will transfer. Also, if uh, you have specified the plant to be 1000, meaning the functional location is in plant 1000, then that also will be transferred onto the equipment because they are in the same plant. Okay, so that all of them will have the same plant code. Then organization, if the main work center, planner group, plants are already specified in the functional location, you will see it transfer. So I'm not going to specify this information. We'll watch how system will transfer this automatically if the functional location has any of this. So once you enter the name, just save and see how system will generate an equipment number. This is the equipment number. Double click on it at the bottom and copy the number and keep it next to the functional location for the forklift. So this is the equipment number for the forklift that to be installed in this functional location. And let's go back again on to this create transaction. I'll press enter again. Am I too fast? Are we on the same page?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So the next equipment
I
we are
have a
going to.
question.
Okay, great.
Okay, so it's possible for a functional location, like in the case you're explaining for forklifts, have forklift equipment from different manufacturers operating in that functional.
Perfect. Yes, it's also possible.
So in that case, are you saying that the information from the master data of the functional location will be carried on to its
Okay.
manufacturer equipment?
Okay. That your question is a very good question. Now, if you have 5 forklifts, right? Then they will all have their functional locations. Maybe the first one will be 5111 for forklift A with similar manufacturer in that location. Then location B, we have forklift 5112. Then the forklift that will be there will be for that manufacturer. Then the third forklift will forklift 5113. Then it will have its own forklift installed in that location. Now, I know what you are thinking. You are thinking that a forklift is something that 5 can be in one location at the same time. Let's say a hall. You can just place one forklift here, place another one here, and you are seeing it as that location is one functional location and it has 5 forklifts. Are you saying that we are going to install also 5 forklifts in that location? Yes, it's also possible. But best practice tells you that, remember, you want dedicated maintenance history per location. And that's the reason why, even if they are together, you are going to create sub locations for each of these forklifts so that they can stand on their own in their space. That space they are occupying is a separate location from the space the other one is occupying. So if there is something wrong with forklift 5112, then you are referring to that space, that location where it is, and it's not the same as the location of 511 or 5113. Does it make sense? Because you can actually say plant, you can actually, okay, let me go back here and try to also explain this way. Oh, okay, I closed that. When we're explaining clarification plant, when we're explaining, you can say there's no need structuring clarification plant down to that level, right? This clarification plan, there's no need dividing it into this level. You can simply say, this location has all these things under it now. So why do you want to split it? You are splitting it because you want to know cost of managing this one. You want to know the cost of this one. You want to know cost of the pieces of cost or the granulated cost on each of these objects as autonomous units. So even if those forklifts are 5 in the hall, they will have their own functional locations. And what will vary is the label. Their labels will be different. So in that, once they have their own functional locations, it means that the manufacturer, if manufacturer XYZ is the one that is installed in functional location 5111, then that 5111 will be dedicated for that manufacturer. And whatever data that is in the functional location will be transferred to the functional location in that space. However, there is also an option for you to how do you call it, to annul or cancel data transfer. In the situation where you have these 5 forklifts and you want them to be under one functional location, then during creation, I will also show you that you can choose to cancel data transfer and maintain separate data, meaning the functional location can have separate data from the equipment master itself. So all these are possible. Okay, so we'll see that shortly.
Okay, so from what I guess, relationship between or the best practice is that relationship between the functional location and the equipment is 1 to 1. That is best practice,
Yes,
right?
that's best practice. 1 to 1, so that when you go to that space, because normally if you go to the field, you will see that those locations are tagged. Let me open this again. Okay, the best thing I will do for you is let me find a PNID. Let me find a PNID. I'll show you what I mean. No, not that one. Maybe G20. No, not that. Good. Now, this is the drawing, right? This is a technical drawing for a particular well. Let me expand it. I don't know if you are seeing this thing, it's quite tiny. You can see this is a well. This thing you are seeing here this is what we call Xmas tree. This thing standing here is a well. This is where you would drill oil. Okay, so the whole of this is the drawing for that well pad. All the equipment that are in that well pad are on this drawing, and you can see they are tagged. So each location has a tag. Like this is ZSC 303, 302, ZSO 302. That's what you see at this level. 1 second. That's what you see at this level. Where is it? Good. This part of it. You see? This part of it. 30 CR 511, 50 GN. Now that's the tag. So where is it? Great. So there's a comment on this PRID that says where is it? All instrument tag numbers specific to well shall be prefixed E18-01-MJ 121. What does that mean? That means it's a prefix. All these things are dependent on company specification. So if they say the prefix is E18-01-MJ121, then if you add the tag to it, for example, this tag, it will become HS-563. And it's already giving you the feel of what? The functional location plus the tag add to it. So it's similar to what we have done here somehow. It's similar to what we have done here. You can see that the tag is at the end, but we decided to structure our own with a slash. Instead of saying dash, we say Mac Abba Seki Trans /30 CR 511. So each of these little objects that are found everywhere, they have a tag, and their functional locations must point to the tag number. They must point to these tag numbers. Okay, they must point to all these tags you are seeing here, all these instrument devices, all of them, they have their tag numbers. You see, all these things, they have their tag numbers, all these things, they are maintainable tags. Okay, so their functional locations must end with their respective tags. Now, if you will see that all these are pressure gauges. So a similar example to this forklift shop, we have three pressure gauges here. Pressure gauge 307, 308, and 309. They are all pressure gauges. They may have different manufacturers. They are in the same look area, okay? But their functional locations will always end differently. This one will end with PG-307. This one PG-308. This one PG. So they will have different they can have different manufacturers, because it's not just one manufacturer that manufacture pressure gauges. Okay, so even though they are here together, they may be on a particular line. So okay, like this is a control panel. What you are seeing here, this box here is the wellhead control panel. So these are pressure gauges on it. Okay, so even though they are together, they have individual functions. So if there's a problem on this pressure gauge, we're not going to say we're not going to enter a record maintenance or any other thing apart from E18-01 blah 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 -PG-308. That would be the functional location of this pressure gauge. So likewise, the forklift, if there are 5, they will have dedicated functional location, and that's best practice. However, if you want to treat this as belonging to one functional location, then it's going to be their superior functional location, the level above these 3. So anytime you are reporting anything on these guys, you are using the level above it. You are not coming down to the root like this 308, 309, or 307. You are stopping at the level before the gauge. For example, in our case, this kind of level, you stop at trans. Trans is a level above it. So you can report any of these pressure gauges on this functional location ending with trans. So you will not be very specific on it. That's why it is better. But if you stop here, we will not know which of the pressure gauges. It's like you are doing a campaign on pressure gauges, on all the pressure gauges on that line. So at that time, it will be safe to use the level above that covers the 3. But if it is not a campaign, if it's a dedicated task on one of them, then you have to go down to the point where that one is installed. But if you use up to this level, then all the 3 will be under this. It means you are carrying out maintenance on all the 3 at once, and their parent is trans. They are all under trans. Because if the second crane is 5112, it must branch through trans. If the third one is 5113, it must also branch through trans. So trans becomes their parent. So if you must do anything on the 3 at once, then it has to use a superior functional location. Any conflict again? Please
No,
feel
it's
free
clear
to
from my
ask.
end.
Feel free to ask your question. So you can see, thank God you mentioned that, and I had to bring this. You can see this is so as a PM person, some companies, when you go, this is what they will give you, and they will ask you to structure what we did, the structuring we did. You do it from here. Okay, all these tags you are seeing, these are tags, and you're going to, they will just give you the format which they they produce their functional location. That's if you were not part of the project. If you were part of the project, you will definitely know the structure indicator that is applicable in that company. So you will now know how to use it to create the functional locations that will point to each of these tags. So here you see they mention something like a prefix. So the prefix, you won't find it on the drawing directly, but it is a comment that is measured that, okay, there's a prefix, that is something preceding the tag. So for all instrument tags, there's something preceding, which is E18-01-. So it means there's an edit mask that has 3 alphanumeric, then a dash, two numeric, a dash, then about how many 5 alphanumeric. Then you will now have the tag, which is this one. So the scenarios are different, but the most important thing is you knowing that you can do a structure indicator to suit any tagging system that is provided for you. Okay, thank you. So the next thing we're going to do is this this generator. So we're going to create the generator now. So I believe you are still under this create transaction IL01. So here, press enter again and enter the generator name. The generator. This generator 1. Okay, so enter generator 1 as the description. So let's enter generator 1. Generator 1. There may be another generator. So you create generator 2. There may be another generator, generator 3. So for now, we have generator 1. So enter the description and save. Now, that is not to say you cannot provide this information if you have. So if you have it, you can. I'm not providing them because I know they already exist in a functional location and they can be transferred. So I don't want to bother providing, but you can also provide this information. So save it and get the equipment number, double click on the message at the bottom, copy the equipment number and keep it by the side of the generator functional location. So the generator tag is 50GN924. So on the body of the generator in the field, if you go, you will see this tag number on the body. So next is what's this? This is a crane, right? Let's see. The next one is a crane. Yeah, this BV670 is a crane. So let's go to create equipment, press enter and enter your crane. Enter your crane again and then save. Double click, copy the number, double click on the number, copy it and keep it side by side with the functional location. Then the last one we're going to create, the last equipment we're going to create is 40PY983. And this is the tag number for this water maker machine. Okay, so let's go and create our water maker. So press enter, enter water maker machine and just save. So that's, like I repeat, that's not to say you can't provide this information if you have them. Okay, for example, object information, you can select one from here. The water maker machine, let's just select, I don't know what to select here. Water pump, I will just select water pump. If you have the weight, maybe 120 kg. If you have this information about this water maker, you can provide acquisition value, maybe $1,000, €1,000. The manufacturer XYZ. If you have the information, you can provide as well all the information. Okay, you don't want to depend on the information transfer. The plant, if it's 1,000, you enter the plant 1,000. If you know the planner group, you can enter the planner group. The work center, operators test 01, you can enter it and the plant code. So if you have this, you can also provide this information and before you save. So now I've saved it. I'll copy the number and I'll keep it by the side. So we have identified 4 objects as equipment in the system, which we have also created their master data, and we are going to install this in their respective functional location. So before we we do that installation, let's go back to display this, our entire structure. So who can remind us the transaction code to display functional location structure, not list? Who can remind us to display functional location structure?
IH01.
Thank you. So IH01. So we'll enter the topmost location, which is Mac. Then we'll tick if there is an equipment installed, it should show. If there's an equipment hierarchy, it should show. If there's a construction type, if there's a bomb, it should show. Then we execute. But you will notice that none of those things are created. What we can see is the subdivision of the functional locations. And when we get to the main tag, for example, forklift, system will not go further. You can't expand further. You have a dot here, no more arrow. Then if you go to ASA you can explore this structure until you get to the diesel generator, which is the tag itself, which is where the diesel generator itself is supposed to be installed. But you can't go further now because the diesel generator is not yet installed. Then for the Boku, you can explore. You have 3 levels. What we're interested in is I don't know where the crane is. Okay, the water maker is in the take kucha. So you explore the take kucha up to the point where you have the tag for the water maker, and now it will not go further. So I just need you to confirm that at this point you can go further. Then we can go back and do equipment installation. How do you do your installation? Install and dismantle of equipment. Equipment can be installed and dismantled at a functional location. Equipment linked with material when dismantled, it can be automatically placed in the storage. So sometimes you install an equipment after a long time of working in that location, you can remove it and replace it with another one. That is dismantling. You can dismantle it. So if you physically have a location and you finally bought a generator you want to place in that location, as you are placing the generator physically, you are also installing that generator virtually in the system. If you bought your crane or your forklift, you want to install it in a particular location. As you are installing it physically, you are also installing it virtually in the system so that you can be able to track the location of that in the system. Now, if after a while you see that the generator is no longer performing optimally, you can dismantle it physically, decommission it, remove it completely, throw it away, or send it back to the OEM for overhauling and bring a new one and install again. So that functional location will record that from this time to this time, this generator has worked in this location. Then it was dismantled. A new one came and worked from this time to this time. It was also dismantled, a new one. So that usage history will be built up for that functional location. So first, let's see how we can install an equipment in a functional location. So here, the concept of equipment here, they are just trying to explain the type of things that you can consider as an equipment, or you can make a decision to create as equipment. So these are some of the examples of the things you can create as an equipment in the system. So before we do installation of an equipment in a functional location, there are things you need to do. There's a few prerequisites. This can be a, an interview question or even in the exam. What are the prerequisites for equipment installation in a functional location? So there are 2 prerequisites. One is the equipment category must permit an installation. This is done. This is enabled in what? Customizing, SPRO. So you must go to what? At the back end and allow or permit equipment installation. So what do we mean by equipment category? This is what we're talking about. I already mentioned that. I'll go out of this structure now and I'll launch the equipment transaction IE02. So this is your equipment category. So during they're also mandated to provide equipment category IL01. You see, there must be an equipment category. So this equipment category M at the back end must permit what? Equipment installation. This is something you will do at the back end. Then the second thing, the second prerequisite is the option equipment installation allowed must be activated in the master record for the functional location. Now, this is not customization. This is front-end activity. So I will quickly show you. We're going to activate that together. Let's first of all copy the first functional location and allow this, because for the equipment category, the first prerequisite I know is already done for that equipment category. So we'll not bother until when we are doing customizing for that, we'll see how that works. So this is a front end activity. So launch IL02 and change this functional location. Enter this functional location so we can do a change on it. Now, when you are copying and pasting in your notepad, be warned that you must use the notepad for the virtual machine. If you use your notepad in the local system, it will not work because these are two different systems. Okay, you can't copy from another system to another system in this fashion. You have to use a notepad of your virtual machine before you can copy and paste. So I'm using my virtual machine notepad. That's why I can easily copy from here and paste here, because the notepad and the SAP are on the same machine, so it can work. So once you enter this, press enter. Go to structure. So when you go to structure, this is what I'm talking about. Equipment installation specification. Equipment installation specification. Equipment installation allowed. And this is ticked. If this is not ticked, you can't install an equipment in this functional location. Okay? So let's check the other functional location. And let's ensure that all of them have that. So normally you can make this default so that once you create a functional location, this is automatically ticked. And this default is also set at equipment category level. So once you set this as a default, anytime you create a new functional location, this will be automatically ticked. That's why ours is ticked, because it was set as default in the equipment category. So equipment category controls a lot of things. Sorry, in this case, functional location category, it controls a lot of things. So all of them, in short, all of them are ticked. So they are all qualified for us to install an equipment. Now, how do you install this equipment? You install an equipment in the master record of the equipment itself. So you have to go through the change transaction of the equipment, which is IE02, to display the equipment in change format. This is the equipment, in this case, forklift. Let me explain again. You must open the master record of the equipment to install your equipment in a functional location. So if you want to install this forklift in the forklift functional location, you must use the transaction IE02. Then you enter the equipment number and display the master record or the master data for this equipment. Is it clear? Okay, so are we together? Are we together? Are we together?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes, follow.
So have you all displayed this, the master record of the equipment? So if you have displayed, go to structure. So when you go to structure, you will notice that this equipment is not installed in any functional location. That's why the functional location field is empty. So if you click on this button, change installation, this will pop up and you can enter the functional location you want to install here. So in this case is this functional location I'm going to install. So I'll enter it here. Sorry. Oh. You can even search it here directly. If you don't want to copy and paste, you can search it here. Use a description. What's the description? A forklift asterisk. Then you find it here. So once you enter it here, then so watch out now to see what I was talking about. There are two options here. If you click continue, you want to install, you don't want any data transfer. You don't want anything data transfer, meaning you have already provided your data in your equipment, so you don't want any functional location to equipment data transfer. If you click continue, there's another option called install with data transfer. So here, if you click, okay, there's a problem. Um, the problem is our functional location has a plant code, while our equipment does not have. So the system is seeing it as a different plant code. So just enter the plant code in the equipment master record as 1000. Then let's go back to install. Then so click install with data transfer. So now you can see what is happening here. All these are information that are already provided in how do you call it, in your functional location. This side is functional location. You can see this blue functional location. This side is what, equipment. And you can see that equipment is empty. Only this plant that I just updated that is available as a data in the equipment master record. I just went to update plant. That's why you can see, and you can see the plant of the functional location and the plant of the equipment are similar. So everything on this side is for equipment before installation. Everything on this side is for the functional location. So if you want to do data transfer, if you click this, you can see that data has been transferred from functional location to the equipment. So everything that the functional location has now is moved to the equipment by clicking this all, equipment all, meaning move everything. If you click functional location all, it will come back. If you click equipment all, it will move to the equipment because we are moving it from functional location to equipment. So once you do that,
So
click back.
follow. Sorry.
Yeah,
So, just a quick question.
yeah.
Now, when you're transferring data from, if the equipment already has information, like in the case of 1000 that is different
In
from
the case of
what
what?
the, will you override it?
Yes, I mentioned that here now. I said, let me do you have to save? No, I don't want to save anything. So let me go and start all over again. So now there's no installation, right? I'm starting my installation process and I want to install it in this functional location. I told you there are two options here. The first option here is if your equipment already has data and you don't want to transfer, you click this one straight, you have installed. there's no data transfer. But if you want to do data transfer, then you have the second option, which is installation with data transfer. There are two buttons here. This one, you are not transferring any data, meaning you have already prepared your equipment in such a way that all the data are available. So you don't want any transfer from functional location to the equipment. But if you want, because in the case of, okay, the functional location has similar data with the equipment that is coming to install there. Like that, you don't want to enter data two times. So once you have entered for functional location, you can now use this function called install with data transfer. If you click this, oh, sorry, still the same thing. I need to update that plant. So if you click enter the functional location and you click with data transfer, then you have the option to move. Again, you can even decide to select what you want to move. For example, I don't want to move, I want to move call center. You will just click here, bam, call center is moved. I want to move WBS. I want to move this one. I want to move. So you can even select what you want to move. The ones you don't want to move, you leave it there and they will not be transferred. If you want to move everything, then you click here, equipment, everything, all, then everything will move. So data has been transferred to the equipment now. So if you go back, you will see now that your functional location is updated and so on. So if you click continue now, you will see that this has been installed in this functional location. Then you can what? Save. So you have installed that equipment in that functional location. So we're going to do the second one together again. I told you, open the
Can you
master
can
data.
you can you just hold on just a minute to
Okay.
allow time to finish up with this one? Okay. Yeah, I'm done. If other people are done, you
Okay.
can proceed.
So we are going. Who you want to ask a question? So we're going for the second one now. Pick the equipment again. Open it in the master data. Please update this plant so that it will not cause us this problem. Enter this plant code. Then go to structure because the functional location has plant code 1000, and if this is a mandatory field, it's a mandatory field that must be filled. So you must provide this. That's why system is complaining. In a situation where this is not made a mandatory field, the data can as well be transferred from functional location, but it is made a mandatory field in the equipment master. So you have to provide it. So let's go to install again and let's copy the respective functional location, then enter it here. Then let's do data with data transfer all, then go back. Please be doing it too, because at the end of the day, we'll see the result together. And then you will see installation date and time. The date you install this equipment, system will mark it. The day you dismantle it, system will tell you that this equipment stayed for so years in this functional location before it was dismantled. So click continue and save. Do the same for the third one. On the master record of the equipment, enter the plant, go to structure, and let's copy the functional location. Go to change installation, enter it here. What's this? Search. What's this one? This is a crane, so I'll just search it. This is my crane. Then install with data transfer, accept, and save. Then the last one, copy the equipment, enter the plant code. Okay, this one is already entered. Go to structure, change installation. So let's copy this. Then installation with data transfer, everything. Go back, accept, and save. So if you have finished installing all the four, just let me know. Anyone has finished installing? Yeah. Steven is done. Steven is done. So let's wait 1 minute. Joshua is done. Chike, how far? Or you're not? Yeah, okay. Nosa is done. Chike, Chike, are you there? Okay, Chike is done. Thanks, guys. All right, so let's see the result of what we have done so quickly. So let's go back to the structure, the functional location structure, and see. So everybody launch IH01, then enter the topmost level, which is Mac. Now, it is mandatory to tick equipment installed. If you don't tick this, you won't see it. Because what you are ticking here, it means you want to explore. There's explosion level you want to reach the installed equipment. So you need to tick it. Also tick equipment hierarchy, and bomb explosion is not necessary because in our next class, we'll be talking about bomb, bill of material. So when we create bill of material, you can also tick to see it. But again, you can just tick for now. So click execute. Then if you are here, let's first of all go to the forklift, which is on the Aba sub location, and Seki system, then transport unit, then we'll see our forklift. So while you are on forklift here, expand further, you'll see your equipment installed under it. So you can see the equipment number here. The equipment number is now part of the structure now, is installed. So if you go further to ASA not generator, when you get to the generator functional location, you expand, you'll see an equipment is installed there. If you go to this one, this Sekucha Explode, you will also see equipment installed. So there's one more equipment, water maker, which other one? Crane, yeah. We also have a crane installed. So you can see. So our structure now has equipment attached to some functional locations. Now, if you go double click on this, if you double click on this equipment number, the master data will open like this. Same way, if you double click on this functional location, the master data will open. However, it will open in display mode by default. If you want to put it back to change, you can now click that goggle. Let me repeat what I did. It all these levels that are blue, they are functional locations. So if you toggle your mouse on this, you will see that all these are functional locations. It gets to a point where this Makurdi is a functional location. This is when you want to carry out maintenance on everything under Makurdi subplant, maybe like a campaign. So and you need to specify only one functional location. You are going to use a topmost. This can be a functional location if you want to do everything under ABA sub-functional location. This can also be a functional location if you want to treat everything under the system Seki or the sub-elements of Seki system. Then you can use Seki as a functional location. This can be a functional location if you want to treat everything under the transport unit. Okay? But this can be a functional location if you want to treat or if you want to carry out maintenance on the forklift, because it is only the forklift that is here. Likewise, all this. Now, if you toggle your mouse around this, you'll see that this object here is an equipment, while all these ones are functional locations. This is an equipment. And there's a color legend somewhere here. If you go to system color key, system color key, this is a color key. You'll see that this color is dedicated for functional location. This green is dedicated for equipment. So we are going to create further elements, further objects down, down, down. So we are gradually making our structure more complex. And the next thing we're going to create is construction type, PM assembly, and materials attached to it. And all of them will have their respective colors here. So this color key can show you that. So if you double click on any of these guys, the master record will open. If you double click on this guy, the master record will open. If you double click on this guy, the master record will open. Now, why I'm doing this is I'm interested in this one. If I double click on this guy, the master record opens. If I go to the areas where I have data, look at the data. Cost center is 4,000. Company code is 1,000. Planning plant is 1,000. Planner group is 100. Main work center. So if the equipment under it, because we did data transfer, all this under organization will be the same. Okay. So what's happening here? Let me check another one. Looks like we didn't do. It's strange that this didn't transfer this data. So let me let one in. Okay, it's strange that this data transfer didn't happen. I would try to figure out what's, but normally I was expecting to see the information I just displayed in their respective functional locations in the equipment master. The way we have all this in the functional location, we should also have it here because we use the data transfer method. By all standard, that's what should happen. But I will have to check why that data transfer didn't happen. So that's how you can create an equipment and install it in a functional location. So next is if that equipment has worked for so long and you now decide that you want to dismantle the equipment, then you can also dismantle the equipment. So let's go into one of these equipment, the first one, using IL02, sorry, IE IE02. And let's go to structure. So if you go to structure and you go to change installation, you have an option to dismantle. So if you click on this dismantle, the functional location will disappear. If you click on continue, you see that this space is now empty. You can save now. So if you check back this functional location, you see that the equipment is no longer in the functional location. So let me go to IH01 again. I will tick all of this. Enter the topmost level, and then I'll execute. So if you check this forklift now, there's nothing installed there again because we have dismantled it. Because in the structure, there's no equipment installed. You can see equipment table is empty. And even in the structure, equipment is no longer there. Unlike this generator where we have an equipment installed because we have dismantled this equipment.
Please can you go over the dismantling process again for just a second?
Okay, so let's dismantle this one again. To dismantle again, you need to open the master record of that particular equipment. For example, this generator using IE02, then structure, right? Then you can see where it is installed at the moment. This is a functional location. So if you go to change installation, there's a dismantle button here. The moment you click on this dismantle button, you will see the functional location that was installed here will disappear. So if you accept, it's gone. So if you save, it's dismantled. You can't find it in the structure again because it's dismantled. Is it clear now?
Yes, very clear. Thank you.
So this is where we're going to, let me just check the content. I think what we have next here is just some exercises which maybe we can attempt some quickly. They are not so difficult exercise. Here they are saying display master record of equipment number TEQ dash hash hash and determine the following data. The description, maintenance plan, cost center, construction type, planning plant, main work center. So this is the equipment number they are giving us, TEQ dash hash hash. And by me looking at this equipment number, you know that it was externally assigned. The number was externally assigned. So if I want to display according to the question, I don't want to change. So I won't use IE02. This time I use IE03 because it's display. IE03. So I'll enter TEQ dash. Hash hash can represent any number, maybe 00 or 01 or 02. Any two-digit number is what hash hash represent. So this is what our equipment, and this equipment is an electric pump 001. So the question says we should determine the description, plant, maintenance plan, cost center, construction type, planning plant, and main work center. So the description is what? Electric pump 001. What again? The maintenance plant is 1000. The main work center is T-ME01. The cost center is 41100. So these are the information we're asked to determine in this, just to make you familiarize yourself with going around the equipment master data. Number 2 says create a new piece of equipment. Call it T. The number should be TEZ dash hash hash. Using equipment category M, you can freely select the data in the area general. You should use maintenance plan 1000 and cost center 4110. So it's the same thing we have done here. But the difference here is why they ask us to use external number assignment. So this time around, we're not going to allow the system to generate a number from a series for us. We're going to assign the number, and they ask us we should assign this number TEZ dash hash hash hash. So it could be TEZ dash 10 dash 10. So to create that kind of equipment, you use the normal create transaction IE01. Then the number now you assign is TEZ-10. This is what they say we should assign. So system will allow you, because this equipment category allows external number assignment as well. So it means that at the end of the day, when you create this equipment, the number will be TEZ-10 instead of the number that it generates from the number range. Okay, let's see if they give us a description of this equipment. They didn't give us any description of this equipment. Let's just call it electric pump 10. Okay, so they say we should use plant 1000. They say we should use cost center 4110. So let's go to organization, cost center 4110. They say we should freely select some information from the system. So object types, we can freely select electric pump or pump, electric motor, pump. Let's just select electric pump motor. So that's the object type. With the weight, we can enter 1000 kg. So they say we should just enter information freely. So the manufacturer XYZ, the serial number 12345, the part number 542, and this one, anything. So the country, manufacturing country, let's say is US. A year, let's say 2020, 2024. The month, let's say, is August. So 08. So acquisition date is today. Can select from the calendar. Startup date is today. This is the date we install it, and the starting size dimension, if you have maybe 1 by 4 uh, by by 4, I don't know. Then under location, we have already entered plant. You can select a location freely. That's the instruction. The room, maybe room 103. Plant section, you can select it freely. Work center, you can select from the available list. ABC indicator, you can select maybe potential production loss, no effect, environmental risk. Okay, so this is the ABC indicators we have. This shows the criticality of this equipment. That's what ABC indicator shows. So sort field just is the name that you want to use to find this pump when you are searching for it. So let's just say pump 10. Pump 10. Okay, so organization, business area, asset code, WBS. If there's a WBS, you can enter. The planner group, let's enter 1000. Main work center, let's enter our main work center, which is that test 001. And then catalog profile, you can also select any catalog profile freely. Structure, here you need to provide the functional location where you are going to install it from. You can do the installation. Class and document, if you have all this information, you can go. So you save, and your equipment number that will be created will be TEZ-10 because you did external number assignment. Now, external number assignment is useful where there's already an existing system that all this equipment have their number already, and you don't want anything to deviate from the numbers that they already have or that are already assigned to them. So when you create, let's assume like if you go to some offices, you will see all the ACs are numbered number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you want to maintain that numbering in the system. So you will enable external number assignment. So when you are creating the first AC, you call it AC-01, and system will take this as the equipment number for that AC. Likewise, electric motor, generator, turbine, anything. So if that numbering already exists in-house and you want to maintain it, then you do external number assignment. Else, if you want system to automatically assign numbers for you like this from a particular number range, then you leave this blank and system will assign that number for you. Then question 3 say install your new piece of equipment in pump station for biological cleaning in clarification plant ##. Check the installation using the structured display for the functional location. Okay, so this is taking reference from this our functional location structure. So biological cleaning. This is our biological cleaning, and this is our pump station. Okay, this is our pump station. Yeah. So they want you to install this equipment we have created in the pump station of the biological cleaning. So pump station is under biological cleaning. So the functional location for pump station is K1-B01. So if you want to install this equipment in K1-B01, then you use the change transaction the way we did. You go to structure, change installation, then enter K1-B01 as the functional location. Then if you want to do installation with data transfer or not, let's do without. So you can see this is automatically installed there. Then if you save, then it means you have installed that equipment there. So if you go back to the structure, I hit 01, which is the next question. If you enter directly that functional location, because we don't want to display everything um, starting from this level, starting from C1, going down to C1-B01, we want to go straight to K1-B01 and see what is installed there. So you can type it here directly, K1-B01, then you tick all this and you expand. So system will narrow down your narrow down everything to K1-B01 and exclude every other one. So you see our equipment number TEZ-10 electric pump 10. So that question is also addressed. So they say this question that say we should install uh, um, this new equipment in a branch called pump station of the clarification plan. So the next question 4 says display the pump P-1000-N001. So this is also like um, an equipment number, I guess. They want us to display it. So it's to use the equipment display, which is IE03, and enter the equipment number. What's the equipment number again? P-1000 N001. P-1000 N001. So this is the equipment, and the equipment is electric pump 001. That's just what the question says. And they want us to familiarize with all the things around this equipment. Okay, next is when and at which functional location was the equipment installed for the first time? So now they are trying to make us track the history of this equipment. So this equipment was installed in a particular functional location. Later, it was dismantled and transferred to another functional location. So they're asking us to check. How do you know which functional location was this equipment installed first? So this is what is called usage history. So you can get that if you open the master data and then um, you go to somewhere. Okay, usage list. You go to usage list. You are going to see the historical movement of this equipment. So you see at this point, this same equipment was installed in a particular functional location. This is the functional location K1-BR2-11. Okay, from 2021 down to this 6th December. Sorry, this is 1994 From 21st November 1994, this equipment stayed in this functional location up to this time, 6th December 1994. Okay, from November to December. So from this moment, this equipment was dismantled and installed in another functional location, K1-B01-1, and it stayed for this period. I think the same day. Then it was moved to another functional location, which is which stayed till February. Then this equipment was moved to another functional location and it stayed up to April, and then it was moved. So the very first functional location this equipment was installed in is this K1-BR-11. So that question is resolved. So B part say which pieces of equipment were installed in the filter station of biological cleaning of the clarification plant K1 in the time between 1st of January 1998 and 0101 1st of January 1999. So they're asking you now which equipment were installed in this filter station. So this question is relevant, is related to this structure. This is your filter station. Our filter station is C1-B02. So you need to open this functional location. Let's use IL02 C1 dash B02 in display mode, and we can check usage period. Okay, so there are two equipments here. One, this electric motor was installed here 22nd April 1999, and this other equipment M-300 was installed here 22nd April 1999. So within this period, these were the two equipments that were installed in this particular functional location, filter station of the biological cleaning. So you can go through this um, exercise again if you have time. And we also have their solutions here, the path you will follow to address question 1. This is the transaction code, IE03. Then question 2, this is the path you follow where they ask you to create a new equipment. Question 3, this is the path you follow. Follow this, you see we went to usage list at some point and we track the usage of that equipment. Then question 4, B, this is also the path you follow. And this were the equipment we saw that were installed in that functional location within that period. So this brings us to the end of technical object equipment. So in our next class, we'll be looking at bill of material. So in summary, bill of material is just spare parts, list of spare parts for each of these equipment we have installed. So there's a special way you prepare the spare parts and assign it properly to the equipment such that users can easily go and pick the spare part that has an issue and replace physically. So we're going to be looking at that in our next class. So if you have a question, this is the time to ask. If you don't have, then we'll call it a day and get ready for it. So I will encourage you to play the video again. I will send the video today, tomorrow. Play it again and try to play with it. These are simple things, but if you don't play with them, you can forget the steps. So any question? Joshua, any question? Steven, any question? Chiki, Osa?
No question. No question.
Okay, Omoridion, I see you're just joining us. I didn't quite notice you in the class on time. But the video is available. You can
Yeah,
You
good
can
evening.
play
I had
and
a lot of network issues over here, but I'll be following.
all right. So please play the video
You
again.
said,
Everything is there. Play the video again. Everything is in the video. If you have issues,
you said,
let me play your video. Play the video again. If you have issues, you can let us know. You can send your questions on our WhatsApp group so that as I answer the question, others too can learn from your question. So feel free to send your question on the WhatsApp group and I'll attend to it. All right. Thanks and have a good night
okay,
rest,
okay.
guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Thanks.
Okay, you too, sir. Thank you very much.